London, 1958. A luxury restaurant. The elegant clink of silverware against fine china. A young Malaysian businessman sits across from Japanese executives who believe they hold all the power. The tension in the air thickens as one begins to speak condescendingly. In an instant, the Malaysian man's composure shatters. He throws his napkin onto the table. "Do you think you won the war? Do you think Malaysia is a colony of Japan?" No one in that room could have predicted this moment would mark the beginning of an empire that would transform a humble rice trader into Malaysia's wealthiest man. A fortune built from sugar and sweat. A dynasty forged in the shadows of colonial rule. This is the story of the richest family in Malaysia. Johor Bahru, Malaysia, October 6, 1923. As the colonial flag fluttered over government buildings, a child was born who would one day control billions. Robert Kuok entered a world divided by wealth and power. The youngest of three brothers in a Malaysian Chinese family, he grew up watching his father, an immigrant from Fujian, China, struggle to establish a foothold in British Malaya. The bombs of World War II would shatter any sense of normalcy. As Japanese forces occupied Malaysia, the young Kuok made a decision that raised eyebrows. He took a job with Mitsubishi Shoji Kaisha. What seemed like collaboration was actually calculation. While working in their rice trading department, he was studying them, learning their methods, preparing for a future they couldn't envision, a future where the colonized would become more powerful than the colonizers. But no one, not the British colonials reasserting control after the war, not the emerging Malaysian political class, not even Kuok himself, could have predicted the sweet fortune that awaited him. They call him the Sugar King of Asia, a man who operated in whispers, avoided cameras, and built an empire worth over $11 billion from humble trading routes. Robert Kuok's personality contradicted his wealth. While his peers purchased super yachts and private jets, he remained famously private. No scandals, no extravagant parties, no public displays of wealth that typically accompany fortunes of this magnitude. But Kuok isn't Malaysia's only billionaire story. The Kuok family, with Kuok Leng Chan at its helm, controls Hong Leong Group. Worth nearly $10 billion, they've built their wealth through banking, real estate, and manufacturing since the 1960s. Then there's the Krishnan family, inheritors of Ananda Krishnan's $5.3 billion empire spanning telecommunications, oil services, and media. Their story contains perhaps the most shocking twist in Malaysian wealth, one we'll return to. But Robert Kuok remains the patriarch of Malaysian wealth, a man who learned early that true power isn't displayed, it's concealed. His business philosophy was simple yet ruthless. Identify undervalued commodities, secure government connections, and crush competition through meticulous planning and unwavering execution. And his vehicle to untold wealth? The sweetest commodity of all, 1955. While Malaysia inched toward independence, Robert Kuok made a pivotal decision. Rice trading offered stability, but little profit margin. Sugar, however, was volatile, and volatility breeds opportunity. His strategy was methodical. First, establish direct importation from India, bypassing traditional channels and leveraging Malaysia's preferential duties. Then, build relationships with suppliers others ignored. Meanwhile, the young businessman maintained impeccable payment discipline. In a region where delayed payments were common, Kuok's reliability became his currency. Trading partners began to favor him over established European companies. What no one realized was that Kuok was orchestrating something far more ambitious than merely trading sugar. He was mapping the entire supply chain, identifying every vulnerability, every opportunity for vertical integration. He traveled regularly to Bangkok, London, and New York, not as a tourist, but as a student of the market. While others saw only prices and tonnage, Kuok observed patterns, relationships, and the unspoken politics of global trade. In 1958, that preparation met opportunity. Mike Horry of Mitsui called Kuok while he was on family vacation. The Japanese trading house needed someone to handle a massive sugar deal. Kuok cut his holiday short immediately. But this was more than just another trade. This was the foundation of a monopoly that would reshape Malaysia's economy and make one man king. London, 1958. The lunch that began cordially had devolved into something else entirely. As the Mitsui executive lectured Kuok on how business should be conducted, something inside the normally composed businessman snapped. "Do you think you won the war? Do you think Malaysia is a colony of Japan? Did you invite me to lunch to insult me?" With that, he walked out. The Mitsui executives sat in stunned silence. They had just alienated the one man who could solve their sugar problem. But this confrontation wasn't really about wounded pride, it was about power. The real battle began when Kuok returned to Malaysia and proposed something unprecedented, the country's first standalone sugar refinery. But to make it viable, he needed tariff protection from the government. July 14, 1959, 10:30 Washington a.m. Kuok enters the Ministry of Commerce and Industry. The room is filled with skeptical British civil servants who see no reason why Malaysia should protect a local sugar refinery when importing refined sugar seems more efficient. For 2 years, Kuok fought this battle, submitting proposal after proposal, each time rejected. The colonial machine worked against him, protecting established British interests. Then came the political shift that would change everything. A new Minister of Commerce and Industry, sympathetic to local business interests, took office. On November 3, 1961, Kuok secured the protection his refinery needed. Within months, he controlled 80% of Malaysia's sugar market. The monopoly was born, but Kuok wasn't finished. Anticipating market changes with almost supernatural precision, he purchased massive amounts of Indian sugar before prices skyrocketed. Overnight, his wealth multiplied exponentially. The office boy from Johor had outplayed the colonial powers at their own game. The sugar king of Asia had claimed his throne. Today, the Kuok Group spans 6 continents. Hotels, shipping, real estate, commodities. The empire seems limitless. Yet Robert Kuok remains elusive, granting few interviews, preferring to operate away from public scrutiny. The pattern repeats across Malaysia's wealthiest families. The Kuok family expanded from humble trading routes to control Hong Leong Group, with interest in banking and real estate worth billions. Yet they too maintain a careful distance from the spotlight. Perhaps the most haunting story belongs to the Krishnan family. Ananda Krishnan built a $5.1 billion empire spanning telecommunications and oil services. His only son stood to inherit unimaginable wealth. Instead, at age 18, he walked away from it all. While visiting Thailand, he made a decision that shocked the business world. He became a Buddhist monk, renouncing his inheritance to live in a monastery on the Thailand-Myanmar border. The heir to billions now sleeps on a hard floor and owns nothing but his robes. Meanwhile, Malaysia's elite circles were rocked by the 1MDB scandal, billions siphoned from a state investment fund, exposing the dark underbelly of wealth and political power. Yet notably, the old money families like the Kuoks remained untouched by the controversy, protected by their careful distance from politics. As Robert Kuok enters his 2nd century of life, questions linger about the future of these vast family empires. Will they survive the transition to the next generation? Will they maintain their privacy in an increasingly transparent world? In the towers of Kuala Lumpur, behind closed boardroom doors, the next chapters are being written. Power transfers not with fanfare, but with whispers. Wealth moves not with flash, but with precision. For now, the richest family in Malaysia continues their century-old tradition, accumulating power while staying invisible, controlling industries while avoiding headlines, and sweetening their fortune while the world remains largely unaware of just how much they control. After all, true power isn't what you can see, it's what you can't.